Greetings everyone, ciao from Italy, this is Panthera and welcome back to a new speed painting. This is page 106 of Africa, my webcomic, which you can read on DeviantArt, Tapastic, Twitter, and a bunch of others, which I will show links of in the description. This is panel 4 from page 106, and it features these adorable little cubs, Mosi and Binti, which are Africa's little babies. However, I'm not really here to talk about these guys, even though I would love to. This video is going to be a little bit different. I was planning on doing a question and answer video for a while, and I say, hey, why not just turn this boring speed painting video into just something that can be a little helpful for everyone. So a while back I asked a few of my watchers on DeviantArt to ask some questions they would like me to answer. So that's what I did, and so there's gonna be a few questions you guys asked, and I'm gonna give you the answers to those. So I really hope you guys find this enjoyable and helpful. Mainly, that's my aim. So let's get right into it then. Sunny5262 asks, any drawing tips for beginners? And what's your favorite color? Well, thank you. My favorite color is teal, which is a sort of greenish blue or bluish green, whichever you want. And any drawing tips for beginners, apart from the usual practice, I would say look up references. It's incredible how many people just draw from memory without ever looking up references, which can be amazing because I envy people who actually can draw from just sheer memory and draw it very good. But if you're a beginner, you may want to use references, especially when you practice your anatomy, your posing, and your structures, whatever. You can use references for anything. You can have so many tools at your disposal. You have no idea of the potential of those tools. Do not underestimate them. It's not cheating if you use references. It's not cheating, so try and use them as often as you can. Try to practice every day with references. It will really help you. Akita Soldier asks, hi, how did you learn and practice to draw so many animals in different poses and perspectives? It's amazing how you manage to put them in different action scenes. Well, first of all, thank you so much. To answer your question, I generally just use references when I'm practicing. Like even before I start the page, the actual page, I make like a few sketches of just practice poses, and that helps me a lot finding the flow. If you're using references, which I highly suggest you to, try to find the flow, try to find the anatomy beneath. Don't just copy what your eyes see, just try to understand the structure beneath it before you even go into the details. Alexis Racher asks, since all your comics are fully handmade, how can you handle and correcting mistakes? Actually, I can handle a few of the minor mistakes, just thanks to the tools I have at my disposal. I usually use color pencils for coloring my comics and just regular felt tip pens to ink them. So whenever I make a mistake, for example a round color or a smear of anything on my page, I simply cover it with a layer of white, or I erase it away if I can, and then I work over it with the correct color. Only my paper can take just so many corrections. It doesn't last forever. It will start really suffering if I continuously make mistakes in the same spots. If worse comes to worse, like if I cannot correct it with anything, I will just use Photoshop. Both Orchid and Catwolf Crazy ask, have you ever screwed up a comic page to the point you had to start over? And Catwolf Crazy asks, because that would really suck. And yes, it did, it does. It sucks when it happens. Unfortunately, it does happen, especially in traditional art, when you don't really have you know, a safety net, something that you can get back to if you screw up. If you screw up, it's done. And unfortunately, yeah, that did happen a couple times. Luckily, it wasn't so frequent, but it did happen a couple times that I had to just start over. And namely, that happened when the paper I was working on ripped. And yeah, there was no saving that, because minor mistakes I can save, but a ripped page, there's not much I can do about, and I just had to restart. Red Irish Dragon asks, how do you plot out a page, especially if there's action going on for more than 1 or 2 pages? Okay, I really hope this can help, but you can try using storyboards. Like, even before you start, you know, working on the actual page, try just writing it out. Try writing out the scene, even before putting it out on paper. Try to take it in small steps. The first step, as I said, is the written part, so just write down the scene as it comes to your mind, just as you imagine it. After which, you may want to write down a script of that scene. So, for example, describe the action and what the characters are saying. After you do draw a script, try to divide the script into panels so that it can fit in an entire page or a set of pages is writing a scene. Once you do divide the script into panels, then you can start representing it in the thumbnails. So the thumbnails are just gonna be a visual representation of your script. There's nothing more to them. You don't have to like improvise or invent anything. It's all written in your script. The thumbnails are gonna be your backbone for drawing the actual page. So whatever you add to the thumbnails can go into the final page. So pay attention to paneling, the way the action flows. If it doesn't flow very well, you can just scrap it and redrawing. It doesn't have to take very long. Thumbnails are very quick drawings. If it doesn't work, which it most probably will the first couple times, you may just want to scrap it and redraw it. Bridget Midget asks, out of all the characters in your comics, which one is the hardest to draw or color? And that would have to be Led, or Ledniache, whichever one you prefer. It's the main character from Chakram, and I don't know, just due to the sheer amount of color it's got going on, he's probably the hardest and most time-consuming to draw in color. Kirby Warriors asks, how long will Africa last? Africa is set to be 5 chapters long, which is probably gonna be around another probably a couple hundred pages more. I plan it to be around 300 pages long overall. Moon Eco 752 and Wingwolf Laurie both ask, do you or will you ever have a sort of persona or mascot? And Alari also asks, would you say that you'll always be a pair of talking hands? I'm always a pair of talking hands, but yeah, basically I either consider Shiwai or Africa to be my personas on DeviantArt especially. I don't really have my own because I'm honestly not, I guess I don't identify as anything, but that sounds sort of like a sexuality choice. It's not the case. I just don't really have any character to actually represent me. I'm just a pair of talking hands. And Alari also adds, why are you so amazing? I'm not amazing at all. But I'm really happy you think so thank you so much. Red Panda asks, how do you come up with the names of your characters? They're all very unique. Thank you so much, Red Panda. Actually, many of the names of my characters come from different languages, especially in Chakram. Like the main gang of 7 heroes is named in different languages. For example, Led has a Czech name, Kuma has a Japanese name, Hielo has a Spanish name, and Motiol has a Polish name. In Africa, all my names come from Swahili language, which is one of the languages spoken in Tanzania, where the story takes place. Also, many of the names are actual African names that are given to babies, so it was interesting to research. Orchid also asks, which series is your favorite to do between Chakra Africa and Azarian Stories, my written story? I would say Azarian Stories just based on the potential, because there's so many things I would love to talk about. But for the time being, Azarian Stories is kind of on hold, because I don't really have much time to work on it. So between Africa and Chakra, I would say Africa, hands down. Imaginative Genius 099 asks, what would you say is the best method of coming up with ideas based on your experience? I would say it's something, kinda redundant, I guess, but it's watch a lot of movies, read a lot of books, and talk to a lot of people. I know this sounds really weird, especially for the talk to a lot of people bits, but it really isn't. The fact is, it's really hard to get ideas just based on your mind. You cannot trust your mind. Just spawn ideas randomly, just like that. Yeah, you can have like this bout of inspiration, I guess, but it's really random and it's just not reliable to have new ideas. In order to have new ideas, you need to do new things. It's just the basis. So try to read a book that you will never read. Try to watch a movie that you will never watch. Who knows? You can find something interesting. You don't have to copy the book or movie. You can just take the idea, take the concept, like the basis of that plot, and then like work on it. Sort of like realizing what's the strong points and try to figure out why it works and how it works. Or you can be inspired to create a specific character from a book. That's also okay. It doesn't have to be the same, but it can be the same basis. Like, I don't know, I want a character that does something awful and then makes amends for it and becomes good. I don't know any characters that ever did that before. Do you? And while you listen to me rambling for 3 hours or so, we got to the end of this panel. I really hope you enjoyed this. I actually really like the result. And if you would like to read the rest of the comic, you can check out the links in the description. So thank you so much for sticking around and for having to put up with my obnoxious voice. I really hope you're not intimidated by me. Don't be, because I'm actually a nice person, I promise. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know. And I might actually just answer more questions if you do have those. So feel free to post more questions in the comment section or on DeviantArt, wherever you want. I will select them and I will keep making these short Q&A videos for you guys. If you really want help, you can subscribe to me on YouTube by following the link below, or you can follow me on Twitter, DeviantArt, and most importantly, Patreon. By supporting me on Patreon, you get a lot of nice treats. For example, you get to see pages beforehand, like this Africa page. Thank you so much again for sticking around, and until next time, have a good one. Bye!